I want to focus on an issue that should be the primary focus of the Albanese government at the moment. Nope, not the voice to Parliament proposal, not cutting emissions, not empowering big tech companies to censor views they don't like on social media. It's the issue of energy. You may remember last week we reported that the Australian energy market operator is warning that there could be blackouts this summer as the rollout of renewables falters and our coal plants continue to age and continue to be closed down. Well, now it looks like at least the New South Wales government is taking some action. Today was reported that the Minns government will seek a deal with Origin Energy to prolong the lifespan of the state's largest coal generator beyond 2025. This came 2 weeks after an independent report recommended the Eraring coal power station would need to stay open to safeguard electricity supplies. Joining me to get the latest on all this is the Australian's Environment Editor, Graham Lloyd. Graham, welcome to the program. This seems like it's good news. It's common sense work from the Minns government.
Well, certainly the red lights have been flashing all over the control rooms to do with power in recent weeks. And the message is there is possibly a shortfall of power and everything needs to be done to keep some coal in the system as a backup. The Minns government has got the message. They've made the decision that ultimately they had to make. They'll negotiate with Origin to keep this power station open for longer in the hope that the rest of the system sort of gets itself together.
But is extending the life of just one coal plant, a silver bullet here? And it is still an ageing power plant. Are they really going to be putting money into renewing it, or is it just going to be extended for a little bit longer so we don't have these blackouts this summer and next?
Well, this is the devil of a situation that the power authorities and governments have got themselves into. This is very much a backstop measure to avoid disaster. And the bigger issue is, well, what happens in the long term? If you remember several years ago, there was all this debate about, whether we should or whether we shouldn't look for higher efficiency coal plants and build some new ones to backstop the system as the transition took place, which, by the way, is exactly the model that Xi Jinping is using in China, where they're still building coal plants flat out. In Australia, we demonise coal. We said we're not allowed to build anymore. We're going to do it another way. And all the evidence is, as engineers have been telling me for years, this is easy to theorise. It's a little bit more difficult to do. And the fruits of that are we're basically paying subsidies all over the place just to keep the thing together.
And we've got so many people who are being plunged into energy poverty. We're in a first world nation. We've got citizens who are too scared to turn on their heating in winter, turn on their cooling in summer. It is just madness. But we've got former New South Wales Energy Minister and Green activist Matt Keane having a little tantrum about this decision today. Graham, he says it will cause environmental damage. I mean, the chutzpah here is quite impressive. A lot of this mess is down to him.
Well, that's right. He was a very enthusiastic backer of the renewable transition. And it's easy to call out from the sidelines. But the truth of the matter is that the grand plans that he may have had are slow in appearing. And it's the government that has responsibility, and their primary concern is to keep the lights on.
Now, we've got the coalition flirting with nuclear. They haven't come fully out with a coal to nuclear transition, but we think that's going to be their policy position at some point, which will be wonderful because we've got so much uranium we could be using. But that is going to take about a decade to establish. What do we do in the interim? What do we do about base load power in the interim? Because wind and solar ain't going to give you base load.
Well, if you want a real grown-up answer, it's gas. that we produce more gas and we build peaking plants to keep the system going. The nuclear issue is a very interesting one, and that's true. It's a long lead time endeavour, and it's really is planning over the long term. John Howard had the right idea more than a decade ago. He got Switkowski to investigate nuclear for Australia and said this is a 2 to 3 decade horizon thinking, and let's get our act sort of together. And what we have is a ban on even considering the issue still in federal parliament through the EPBC, and we can get no agreement to even, remove the ban on thinking about it. So it's certainly not going to be the magic bullet to solve the immediate problem. And in a way, this is a product of, the renewable industry wanting to assert its dominance in the transition and freeze out competition. And you have to say that they've been pretty successful, but they haven't been particularly successful at delivering at the scale that's required.
Meanwhile, we've got China building 2 new coal-fired plants on average a week. So they're the ones producing our solar panels and producing the windmills, but they're using coal to do it because guess what? It's cheaper. And it just seems, again, mad, Graham. We've got hundreds of years of reserve with gas, with coal, the world's biggest reserves of uranium, and we're not using it to give our citizens cheap, reliable energy. Graham, Lloyd, thank you so much for your time this evening.